I don't know how many times I have to scream this all over the internet. The bull run will continue. I'm saying will because I'm becoming more and more confident as my research continues. But the only problem is we're running out of time. You are literally running out of time to buy the dip. This is the whole point of getting in cryptocurrency, becoming a profitable trader. You literally sell high, buy low. This is the buy low opportunity. I'm going out on a limb here and I'm giving you exact dates. We talked about this before, but I think you have weeks, months left. What's going on, everybody? Alex back with another YouTube video. And today I'm going to be providing you guys with ridiculous on-chain metrics, evidence to why the bull run is going to continue. I'm going to be going into technical analysis. I'm going to go over some news, potentially some altcoin season, etc., etc. You know the quality of my research. And if you don't know, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Of course, support the channel by sharing it with a friend. And, you know, if you're smart, turn on post notifications. There's a little button on the YouTube video that you can click that looks kind of like a little bell. If you click that and then you put all notifications, basically you'll get the videos first. I have a little bit of a problem on my YouTube channel, as you can see here from my screen. Hi, I'm subbed, but you never show up in my feed. I screenshotted this. Unfortunately, this is a sad reality of YouTube. You know, sometimes I get shadow banned. Sometimes they don't show my videos to certain people. So you could easily bypass that by just simply clicking the notification bell. Now, I want to actually show you because I know a lot of people are going to be weird about it. But let's just click a random video. Let's go to Alex Becker over here. So I'm going to click this video. If you come right here, you see this bell. Click bell and turn on all. Turn on all, you'll get the notification as quickly as possible. You don't have to worry about, you know, my video coming up in the feed. Also, if you guys can do me a favor, follow me on Twitter. As you can see here, we're actually going pretty hard on Twitter, talking to a lot of people, you know, throwing some memes out there and stuff like that. And what I plan on doing is giving a couple of my calls there first before my YouTube. It's much easier for me to type things out, you know, just sit there and write something out than actually making a whole video and production and actually editing it. So do me a favor, follow me on my Twitter. Please do me that favor. And let's jump into some topics here. So just looking from my group, this is a couple of days old, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the actual chart. You can see how it played pretty much perfect. So Will is probably pretty much just drawing out these fractals and these descending triangles. And you can see on the RSI and a couple of other indicators that, you know, we're looking like it's going to be a trend reversal. Yaz, our other coach in Fundamental Secrets, basically signaling the same thing. So we were just kind of looking for this bounce right here. And if we look at Bitcoin's price, you can see that we got this nice little bounce. Now, this is kind of important, because if we just take this trend line here and we draw the kind of channel that we've been, you know, basically following in this past couple of weeks, you can see that we broke out of this channel, which is really important because, you know, we needed to do that to make, you know, higher highs and higher lows, right? So I also want to point out something very briefly. If we just take this simple trend line, classical technical analysis, that you do not need to get crazy with TA. I know a lot of people do. That's for Forte, but I like using very standard. You can see that we kind of made a trend from all-time high here. And then, you know, eventually we had this manipulation, and then we broke out and we jumped right back on the trend. You can see that this one right here kind of moves out till there. So something very similar, but in a smaller scale. And I've been pretty much saying that, you know, in every single one of my videos, we're going to see something very similar with the manipulation of Bitcoin's price. You know, it kind of plays out. Now, there's something else that I'm also showing here, which is the VWAP. Now, basically, this is a way that large institutions value Bitcoin by its actual price. And you can see that I took the VWAP from the all-time high, and this line is kind of coming up to here. And then we have the same VWAP from year to date. So I went back 1 year exactly, and it's kind of coming up here. And then we have the all-time low. In all three situations, we're kind of coming up to this make or break moment. And then, you know, just like I've been trying to tell you guys, we broke the trend to the upside. So it might be early, like we might still have a dump. There's things that could happen. Don't get me wrong. But I do want to bring your awareness to the fact that, you know, like this is very early. Like I'm telling you, very early, that things will play out probably in a positive way, considering what just happened here. It's kind of obvious what's going on. And also considering, you know, why this dumped in the first place here and why it dumped in the first place here, right? And of course, I'm going to back this up with even more evidence. But first, let me explain what on-chain metrics are, because I realize that a lot of people don't even understand what this is. Now, Let me just be clear. This is a new thing that just came out, not just, but like it recently came out with Bitcoin success. Now, if you guys understand what a blockchain is, let's just look at this graphic really quickly. You can see that there's kind of 3 blocks there. And what these blocks are, I want you to imagine, and this is a simple way to put what a blockchain is. And this is the underlying technology of every crypto. Just think about like, I don't know, a city, right? A small town or something like that. And you have one guy and he's sitting there writing on a piece of paper. And people are transacting. Someone's buying like an orange from a store. Somebody's buying a hat, blah, blah, blah. And every single time someone buys, this guy just goes there and writes it on the piece of paper. And then he just imagine like a super long list. And then imagine that list being like a big roll that you can go for miles. And every, transaction that's ever been made in this little town is on that ledger. It's called the public ledger. Bitcoin does the same thing, but automatically. There's no guy to write it, right? Bitcoin writes it itself. And they're written in a form of a confirmed block. So as you can see here, we have block 1, block 2, block 3. The whole point of this is that, obviously when, you get this ledger, you get information like, hey, this many people put in a transaction, but you also get other things. You also get, hey, this person bought Bitcoin or this person moved Bitcoin to this wallet. You get all of this information that was previously unavailable because the people that own financial data are centralized like banks. Like banks have the financial data. You can't really go to a bank and say, hey, I want to know Sally's transaction history. It's obviously illegal. They're not going to give you the information. And why would they give out that information when they have like the strategic advantage of knowing everybody's transactions, right? So centralized entities hoard the data for themselves. With blockchains, you have a completely open and transparent ledger for everyone to make investment decisions or to see other people's investment decisions. So this is what on-chain metrics do. And this is why they look so bullish in recent history and every other metric looks bearish. It's because every other metric is centralized and controlled. On-chain metrics are literally uncontrollable. You're just looking at, the history of all transactions on the blockchain. And when I go into this on-chain metrics, you're going to see why it's so bullish and why I've been screaming at the top of my lungs on every single video I've been made in recent history. Did you sell your crypto? I hope you did it. If you did or you did not, leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know. I want to know who's like really, strong and understands this market. I've always said, and I said this on my Twitter, we don't have the biggest community. We have the smartest community. Leave a comment below if you panic sold your crypto. It's okay. It's not a big deal, but we could have this reversal. So pay attention to the next couple months and weeks. We are running out of time. So this is like an example of what it looks like. Glassnode Studio is just one software. There's multiple softwares. There's so many different softwares. Technically, you don't even need a software. You can go directly to, the public ledger, Bitcoin's public ledger, or even Ethereum or any other blockchain and, make decisions for yourself. But Glassnode has like specific metrics that they made. They didn't make all of them. They had people make it for them as well, but they have specific metrics and it's an easy to use platform, although it's very, very expensive and I don't endorse them and they did not pay me for this. I do use them myself, but it's super expensive. If we come over here, the first thing I want to show you that I thought was pretty interesting, and let me just kind of exit this out so we can get it. Some insights from Glassnode Engine Room breaking down Bitcoin's price movement by working hours reveals an unprecedented amount of selling from Asia as a force behind the current downturn. So as you can see, this could be one of the reasons why we've been getting this sell-off. And, in China and other places, they banned Bitcoin mining and stuff like that. So this could be a reason, companies still selling Bitcoin, whatever the reason is. But, if we look at, what's actually happening, this is the first thing. I talked about this in my live stream. This is basically one of those on-chain metrics. There's so many different ones, but this one right here is the 28-day market realized gradient. The whole point of this is to calculate momentum in the market. So it's not really an indicator to, for tops and bottoms, but, if we have a reversal on the momentum and the momentum is going up, it's a good indicator to see that. Now, I want to bring your attention to a couple of lines. The green line I made myself, the 2 yellow lines I made myself. The red line is what they call kind of the fair value or equal momentum. So don't worry about that too much. But look at the yellow line. So I basically put, the vast majority of the tops within those 2 yellow lines. So I kind of put a range that's normal, right? You can see it looks normal from the yellow lines, right? Now we have the green line at the bottom. The green line showing abnormal, price spikes or momentum drops, right? You can see the green. There's been a couple of areas we've seen it right here, right here, and this is 2017 bull run, and then we have one just recently. So the last two times we had it, it was not the end of the market. This is, just a drop, and then Bitcoin's price went up. Then we have another drop, Bitcoin's price goes up. Okay, now we have a super abnormal, which is the blue, and we did end the market last time. The last time the market ended on this blue kind of abnormal drop, right? And we see something actually very similar here with the recent price drop. So I know a lot of people get a little scared about this, but like I said in my live stream, guys, the only difference between this and this is that over here we had hardly any institutions, and then over here we had all the major institutions. We have manipulation that we've never seen before. A lot of people have confirmed this over and over again. We have the Bitcoin ETF futures, right? There's just so much more, of a chance for manipulation to happen. So you could see that they, brought the price down, but market came back almost immediately, and we made a new all-time high. So I would invalidate this one right here, but look at the green arrow, right? So we have a bounce similar to what we see here. And like I said, the only other two times we saw these green arrows were not the end of the bull run. Okay, so you could also see that it bounced. So we're seeing momentum go back up, and we could potentially see this get above the red line, which will confirm the momentum change, right? So if we get above this red line, that would be really good, but you could see the bounce, meaning market's probably coming back very soon. And this is a little bit old. I took these screenshots like a day ago. Also, I want to show you something, because the super whales are buying the heck out of Bitcoin, and they're making an uptrend. So as you can see here, this resolution is 1 day. So we're looking at the 1 day time frame. The pink line is the addresses with a balance that are equal or greater to 10K BTC. So 10,000, BTC is a lot of money. Okay, so these guys are considered whales, big time whales with a lot of money. You can see that they've basically been on a downtrend since the last all-time high. They sold their BTC over here, but recent history, they kind of bottomed out, and now it's been on an uptrend. So with this recent dip that we've been experiencing right now, we have the super whales with addresses that are greater than or equal to 10K BTC accumulating BTC. Now, if we look at this on the 10-minute resolution, so we're looking even deeper, we're looking at a 10-minute time frame, you can see this bounce more apparent right here, a big little bounce here. Now, I want to see the uptrend happen, eventually. But yeah, I was just kind of showing you that like they're still buying right now. Even with the prices dropping, they're buying right now. Now, if we dive a little bit deeper, even bigger whales, right? We can see the same thing. This is addresses with 1K to 10K. And you can see that, although it's been down from recent history, we see that it bottomed out, and we are, going into a potential rally. Okay, so this is what on-chain metrics do, right? You're looking at addresses with people that are basically whales, or really, really rich, or are qualified, right, to follow because they've made a lot of money in cryptocurrency. These things are very valuable because you can see what they're doing. Also, we have some on-chain metrics from Glassnode themselves on Twitter. Bitcoin miner unspent supply. So basically, this shows miner behavior. And you can see from the last all-time high, a lot of them got rid of a lot of crypto. And this was partially due because, we had the banning in China with the miners. So maybe they're getting rid of it for that reason, to cover cost of moving to different parts of the world. But you can see that as it dropped, we have the price drop. Now, we've been recently going up since then, right? And we actually made like an all-time high, as you can see here. We made a little all-time high. So that's very interesting, very, very interesting that, miners are basically holding the Bitcoin that they mine. So they're literally mining Bitcoin and they're holding it, right? So this is allowing some Bitcoin to get off the markets, some scarcity to drive the markets up. Not only that, but miners just have data we don't have, and they have experience that we don't have. So I think that's very interesting to watch. The miners are hodling, okay? Also, you can look at the difficulty as well, and the difficulty of mining Bitcoin is almost at its all-time high. It's 3.5% off all-time high. And this is indicating that a lot of more miners are back in the market, even though we had this dip, right, with them relocating from China and different places of the world. Even though we had that, they came right back, and the security is up for Bitcoin. So this is obviously positive news. This is probably the biggest one I've seen, and this is by Willy Woo. You can go to his Twitter. He's a big data science on-chain metrics guy. But basically, this is the Bitcoin NVT signal. Now, if we read it very quickly, it's basically network value divided by the 90-day moving average of daily transaction value. So what they're looking at is the price of Bitcoin in comparison to how many transactions are happening. So obviously, if the Bitcoin price is low and we have a lot of transactions happening, that means that, the market's undervalued, right? And then if it's high, then the market's overvalued. We have small amounts of transactions for a large Bitcoin price. So you can see here that it just signaled a buy. It just signaled a buy. So the amount of transactions we're getting relative to the price is pretty low. So the market's basically saying it's undervalued. A lot of people are using Bitcoin, but the value is not high in comparison to how many people are using Bitcoin. So this is also a big one here, and you can see that's fairly accurate. It came down to the bottom over here, which, the next leg ran up. We also came down. We didn't even come down here. I mean, look at how exaggerated this is. I mean, the last time we saw this was with this recent dip. So that's also like a clear sign of manipulation, the price going down, but people are still using Bitcoin. We saw it right here. This didn't signal undervalued though. So just to be clear, this did not signal undervalued. But we see it here, the start of the bull run. We see it here, this signaled undervalued. So in general, this is not like a perfect indicator. None of these are perfect indicators, and none of these are perfect charts, and nobody could perfectly predict the market. But I will say that, basically what we've been talking about, the narratives are lining up. We have the metaverse people jumping in. We have people leaving Google, Facebook, Microsoft, big companies jumping into the cryptocurrency space and getting more bullish on what's going on, Web3, et cetera, et cetera. All these things are playing out right before our eyes. Now, just to bring up some altcoin season stuff before we conclude the video, I did want to show you guys that, Ethereum's holding up pretty nice in comparison to all other, altcoins and Bitcoin. Now, we've been talking about this chart here, which is the top 100 altcoins versus Bitcoin dominance in a couple of videos. And as you can see, I predicted that maybe it comes down here and then bounces, right? Maybe we get a bounce here, but it could very likely just, come down here and then bounce from there. Could very likely, but I do know it's going to break out. We're going to get another altcoin season. That's going to be the last leg of the bull run. Bitcoin's going to go to 100K. I'm coming on the internet, putting my reputation on the line, saying these videos over and over again because I truly believe it. I am investing like it. I haven't sold any crypto. I might sell it, but it wouldn't be for the reason because I'm bearish. The reason why I'd be selling is because, it's tax season. And that's actually what a lot of people are doing. And that's why a lot of people are basically taking profits right now is because of the capital gains tax and a lot of tax situation. So, bringing it back to the title of the video, I've drew the fractal out a couple of times in my other videos, so you should definitely watch that. But just to run it back really quickly, it's very simple, guys. If we look at the last time we had this massive manipulation, which is very similar to what we have here, the amount of time it took from the actual candlestick to us actually bottoming out was 63 days. Now, the reason why I think it's going to be a lot less is very simple. All right. The candle size is much smaller. The manipulation looks much smaller. It looks like they're losing control. Whoever's manipulating the market is definitely losing control. They can't do it as aggressive anymore because there's just so much more retail investors right now buying Bitcoin, so many just random people buying Bitcoin, and miners, of course, and people like that, right? So they can't do it as aggressive. So we could assume it's going to be less than 60 days, maybe 40 days. I drew some fractals out in some other videos. And yeah, we're looking at the mid or end of January. That's why I say, you have weeks, months, guys. Christmas is around the corner. I really assume that right after January, when we get that big rush of people that want to, do new things with their life and get into the gym and get motivated and make more money, et cetera, I think, this market will flip positive, bullish, and it won't be bearish again. We'll probably get the last big hoorah. And then from there, guys, we might get a bear run, 80% down. That's just my honest opinion. I do think it's likely. I don't think this prolonged cycle thing's probably going to happen. Maybe next time we get the prolonged cycle, but just with the manipulation that they still have, the fact that we don't have the spot Bitcoin ETF and a couple of other variables, I think we still will get a bear run, which, to be honest, I want a bear run. Okay. I want to buy as much cryptocurrency as I possibly can for cheap discounts. And I want to keep, I want to make money, guys. I want to make billions of dollars one day. That's my goal. So yeah, you guys should definitely, even if we go through a bear run, you lose money, it's okay. Like at the end of the day, I want people to understand that the biggest wealth, the 100Xs, the 1000Xs that everybody talks about, was made in the bear run. Buying the coins in the bear run, sticking it out for a year or two, right? It's like you can invest like literally 5K and become a millionaire if you buy in the bear run at the right time. And it's like, it blows my mind that people have such a small time horizon. They're thinking like 1 week. If you just think 1 year, 2 years, 3 years max, even though I don't even I think in like 10-year time intervals. But even if you just think in 2-3 year time intervals, you can get rich very fast. The easiest way to get rich, which is cryptocurrency. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Thank you. If you like the quality of this content, hit like. If you don't, leave some constructive criticism. Subscribe for more video updates. And like I always say, if you don't get with it, you will get left behind. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Catch you in the next one.